Yeah.
That's the resolution.
Or his lawyer.
Oh, it was pretty, it was
They
great.
told me stuff and they never do.
When I called him, were you, I don't think you were here for that.
The only one I missed was the last meeting.
Little memo.
I was here for every.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same
Well,
Monday.
when I called him out on the ocean stuff,
I remember.
he was like, yes, I love this. And I love that.
It's like Zandami is. You hear the improvements in how he speaks when he finds out.
Oh, somehow I
Yeah.
have a quarter lock up.
Yeah.
Got a good turnout today.
How's it going, Bob?
Yeah, everybody.
Oh, he's over there.
Voted against her. That's what it was. You know what I mean? Because, look, Anna's got experience.
Kai, you keep moving your seat around. You can find your seat.
That?
Yeah, you usually sit over there. Now you're sitting over there.
Room at the end.
Paula, let me know when you,
Yeah, man.
Julie says 6:30.
That's why I got. We're talking about our cable bill, giving up cable. Yeah.
They didn't have me registered to vote. Oh, that's right. It's why I had to be. Then I heard in another district, somebody was working with, I forgot where it was at,
Really?
and they were saying they were driving people in to vote.
Yeah. We're being led by. Still working.
Still working remotely. It's too easy to quit. Gotta keep you busy with the guys. What else am I gonna do?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but then this
I
one,
was forced into
that's the one I was.
for
You have the
disability.
AB one or the
Our kids.
But
A,
they said that
the one that ends in
I
AB?
can work,
This one.
work remotely
Yes,
and make up so
Okay.
much and they won't worry about my.
it's pretty good, yeah.
That's right.
When he hugged you, you left it.
Yeah. Some people.
Charlie,
Okay, it's 6:30.
he hugs you.
I'm Tom McKay, Chairman of the Hainesport Joint Land Use Board. Call the meeting to order. First thing we'll do is the flag salute. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Paula, would you read the sunshine law?
Notice of this meeting was published in accordance to the Open Public Meetings Act.
Okay. We have a standard announcement that there will be no new business starting after 10:30. If we start something before 10:30, we'll finish it up, but nothing new after that. A roll call, please, Paul.
Mrs. Torty,
Here.
Mr. Novarita,
Here,
Mrs. Ludden,
Here.
Mayor Gilmore,
Here.
Mr. Jacochi.
Here.
Mr. R. Murphy.
Here.
Mr. C. Murphy.
Here.
Ms. Costco, absent. Mr. Holden,
Here.
Mr. McKay. Here. And Mr. McKay.
Here. All right, we're moving to items for business. We have an administrative amendment to case 24-0. Sorry, folks.
3B.
03B.
03B. Thank you, Paula. Couldn't find my glasses either. Is counsel for the Walters Group here?
Yes,
Hi.
how are you?
Good. Why don't you come up to the podium?
Yep, I've just got a couple of exhibits I'm gonna hand out.
Watch walking in the front because of the cords.
Watch the cords, we're told. Fine.
Sorry?
Watch the cords.
Watch the
Yeah,
boards.
like the boards, both sides. I thought you were gonna come down the end.
There should be enough
Janice.
to get all the
Okay.
way around, so not just letting me know. I think that was 15 or 16 copies, so we should.
Counsel, when you're putting your remarks on the record, let's just start, if it's appropriate, if you think so, to explain why you and your client think that this can be handled through an administrative amendment as opposed to having a full-blown hearing on this.
Right, well, I mean, the main reason is because of course, the changes deviate slightly from the site plan that was approved by this board in 2024 and the amended plan that was approved in 2025. But they really are minor deviations. No additional relief is required, no variances are required as a result of these changes. And really, the purpose of these changes are largely to address some of the concerns of the neighbors, some fire safety concerns, and to improve, how the site will function and how the site will look.
The neighbors being?
The neighbors being, if you're looking at the property, the neighbor directly to the left, I believe the last name is Bosniak.
It's an organization,
Oh, okay.
fraternal type organization.
Okay. One of the field changes that we're proposing is a vinyl privacy fence along the left side of the property and along sort of the rear of the property. If you look at the plan that I just handed out, I marked as Exhibit A1, you can see the location of the proposed vinyl privacy fence. There's a basketball court kind of where that, if you look at the left side of the plan, where that kind of V shape is, where the property juts in. And one of the field changes we're proposing is a 6-foot vinyl privacy fence to address one of the neighbors' concerns that residents of the 72-unit apartment community will, use their basketball court. And so we're proposing a vinyl privacy fence there that does not require, that could be resolved with a permit. So that's one of the field changes that we're proposing, and I plan to go through each of the field changes that we're proposing using these exhibits if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's a perfectly good way to do it.
Okay.
Thank you for the exhibits, they're very helpful. So we want to mark these exhibits, Paula.
They should be marked A1 through A5, I believe. Starting with the site plan is A1, and the A2 through A5 are just some photos showing what the proposed field changes look like or what they will look like and, the location of them on the actual piece of property.
They're marked in the top right-hand corner of the photo.
You can read
Very
4
hard
and
to see.
5, but the
They're
first,
kind of hard to see.
first 3 are
some of
hard to
them.
read.
Exhibit A2, A3,
All right,
A4.
got those marked, and please continue.
Okay, so my name's Luke Grabiak. I'm with the law firm of Del Duca Lewis and Burr. As this board knows, we represent the applicant, Hainesport Family Apartments, who has previously obtained preliminary and final site plan from this board to construct 72 affordable housing apartment units at the property located at Block 104, Lot 1.06 on your tax maps. The property is located on Creek Road. It's directly across from the intersection of Creek Road and I believe Mason Wood Road or Mason Wood Lane. And so without further ado, let me just go through using these exhibits to explain some of the field changes that we're proposing here. So the first field change that we're proposing has to do with mulch near the buildings, mulch around the front facade of the buildings. And what the plan originally had proposed was a couple feet of crushed stone along the front facade of the building to address fire safety issues. And then if you're moving from the front facade of the building toward the street, it would be a couple feet of crushed stone, then a couple feet of mulch with plantings. And the proposed field change here is just to convert that mulch with plantings to crushed stone with plantings. And you can see in Exhibit A2 that shows a photo of what the site will look like.
A2 isn't the...
This one, Tom.
It's the first of the set of photos.
Yeah, but it's not the actual building, is it? Or is it just a...
That is the actual building on the right side of that photo, and this is, so it was going to be a couple feet of crushed stone, and then a couple feet of mulch with plantings, and the proposal here is just to convert what was going to be mulch with plantings to crushed stone, and that's really, to address the fire safety issue as well as, to make it look consistent, and just a cleaner look in general.
Right.
So that's the first field change that we're proposing.
I've forgotten, and maybe our planner can... Did you include sprinklers for these planters, or any sprinklers for exterior
I
areas?
believe those areas are irrigated. And just and this is one of the simple ones in the application. And I'm sorry, I didn't catch your last name.
Grabiak, Grabiak.
All right, thanks. When this project was initially approved, these were all 100% mulch beds. Revisions to the fire code now require an 18-inch band of basically stone mulch around the buildings. And what the applicant is requesting to just, instead of having 18 inches of stone mulch and then 18 inches of wood mulch, to go with an all stone mulch. This one is relatively minor. We don't really have any issues. One of their initial proposals was to actually, if you see the lawn on the left-hand side of the photograph, to eliminate that lawn and have those be entirely stone, which we felt was probably not really consistent with the ordinance or the approval. So they've added the lawn back in a majority of those areas. These are very narrow bands. We don't have concerns with them. It will facilitate some of their maintenance, and the first 18 inches of it is to comply with the fire code requirements.
And just to be clear, there will still be lawn, grass areas outside the front of each building. That proposal to make it all crushed stone was rescinded, and that's generally, A2 shows what it will look like.
Okay. So the next exhibit is, you looked at that with us just momentarily when you stood up. That's the proposed fence line.
Correct.
Divide the basketball court from the housing.
That's correct. And if you look at the plan, which is labeled mulching plan, it's really just a marked up plan to show the proposed field changes. Along the left side of the plan, that kind of V shape that I described earlier, that shows where on the plan that 6-foot vinyl privacy fence will go. And I believe the neighbor had reached out with concerns that the residents of the apartment community would utilize that basketball court. So just to address one of the neighbor's concerns, that's why we're proposing the vinyl privacy fence there.
Okay. What color, white?
White, correct. Yep. It'll match the trim of the buildings, as well as there's another field change involving a fence that also involves not a vinyl privacy fence, but a vinyl fence as well, which I'll get to in just a minute.
Yeah. Any comments from our planner on that?
No, this was one of those issues that we discussed it with Kathy, and because it is a 6-foot high fence and it wasn't part of the original proposal, we thought, because there were a handful of these, that at least it was something that should be shown to the board in case any of the board members had an issue with any of them.
Right, and it needs a permit, of course.
It does require.
Yes.
Okay, next item would be the entrance.
Yeah, the
Island
entrance
area.
island area. So the first field change here, and I don't have a photo showing this, but the concern here was, I think we had proposed some low plantings on that island entrance, shown at the bottom of the plan, marked as Exhibit A1. The field change that we're proposing here is just to remove those low plantings that were proposed in that island area to the left of the entrance. You can see at the bottom of Exhibit A1, you can see relocate plants from light pole area, which is really referring to that island area to the left of that entrance. And just to point out, that light pole that you see, it says added light pole on our plan, that was already approved in the original site plan, which I think Mr. Taylor will note as well.
And so what's the reason for removing these?
The reason there is to avoid, larger trucks entering and exiting the site to damage those low plantings. To avoid damage to the low plantings.
All right, next.
Yep.
And our only suggestion in that is perhaps the area right immediately around the light pole, some durable low ground cover can go in, because otherwise it's just gonna be an entirely stone area. That will help soften it up a little, and if the trucks are damaging those, they're actually hitting the light pole. So, but we don't have, with the first half or 2/3 to be converted to a stone mulch, we don't have an issue with that.
So your recommendation, Mr. Taylor, would be to add some durable low ground cover around that light pole on the
Yep.
island at the entrance.
So number 3 on the draft resolution, shift certain plantings out of the entrance island area to avoid damage from trucks, and replace with, what did we say,
Low durable ground cover.
low durable ground cover. Okay.
And I believe looking at the letter that we submitted in connection with this field change application. Well, it wasn't really.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, yep, okay, so let's just go right down that list. So, the second change here, it doesn't really actually involve the entrance island area, but I believe what was originally approved for the 5 transformers, if you're looking at Exhibit A1, they're noted, I think there are 5 of them on the site. And I think what was approved originally was those transformers would be set on a crushed stone surface. And as you can see in Exhibit A4, turning back to the photos, what we're proposing is for those transformers to be on a concrete pad, and then for them to be surrounded by some crushed stone with a wood support around that crushed stone to maintain it. We just think that looks nicer. The crushed stone will match the rest of the crushed stone on the site.
Yeah, it probably also helps level the transformer and keep it
Yeah.
from sinking over time into the ground.
Certainly will.
Any comments on that?
No.
All right, next.
Yeah, the last field change, number
basin
4.
change, basin.
Yeah, yep, number 4 in our letter dated October 29th, so the basin, if you're looking at Exhibit A1, there's a basin at the far left corner of that plan. I believe the fencing surrounding that basin that was originally approved was a post and rail fence with wood. And what we're proposing is to replace the wood portion of that post and rail fence with white vinyl fencing.
Is this the actual basin that we're looking at?
I'm sorry, Exhibit A5, correct. That is that is exactly right, yep.
Okay.
And the reason there was to make it match the trim of the buildings, the rest of the white vinyl fencing surrounding the property. Also, to reduce, there's also a walking area that's going to be constructed or paved around that basin area, and we just thought wood would, be, kids are going to be touching that fence, getting splinters in their hands, and we think, the white vinyl fencing is just a better option, better looking, and it will match the building and the rest of the white vinyl fencing at the property.
Any comments about that?
So, I have a question.
Go
Is
ahead.
this fence installed already?
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
And
Sure
why
looks
is
like
the wire on the
Right, that was
inside
my
of the fence
question.
and not on the outside?
I don't have the answer to that question.
Well-
I have Alex Cordero here from Walter's Group to assist me with answering questions like that. Do you know why that,
Well, we need to
What-
know, because first of all, there was a permit needed prior to putting the fence up, but more than secondly, is that normally the wire fence is on the outside so that people can climb on that fence. And if that's the case and the board were to approve this, then there's a lot of work that has to be rectified.
I do not have the answer as to why the wiring is on the inside of the fence. I agree with you.
Well, the question to me is,
Yeah.
as the zoning officer, why was this put in prior to the board approving this? That's why I sent you guys here.
Well, I believe that this fence was approved with the original site plan approval,
But not vinyl,
not vinyl,
correct, wood,
wood, and
which
that's.
is why you're here to ask for that permission.
That's correct. Which I believe is, a different question as to why the wiring is on the inside of the fence. I don't have the answer to that question. I can get the answer to that question. I don't know the rationale for that.
Well, we need to find that out sooner than later if they approve this.
Okay, understood. We'll get you the answer to that. But the proposed field, the field change that we're seeking approval for is for the post and rail portion of that fence to be a vinyl fence as opposed to wood, which was originally approved.
I
But what would be
suppose.
sa- What would be sad is that you put this in already, what if they didn't approve it?
That is, a potential area of concern for my client. But, that's why we're here this evening.
Okay,
You tack on
Big
the
forgiveness
wire on
permission.
the outside of the fence as well?
I'm sorry,
To remedy the wiring issue,
they're gonna have to put it on the outside.
just, well.
Maybe just add wiring to the
More wire
outside.
to the
Yeah.
outside, so there's wire on the
Correct.
outside and wire on the inside. It's like a belt and suspenders, I suppose. All right,
This is what
comments?
happens when people do things what they want, I'm sorry.
Any comment from our planner?
This is a 100% affordable project, as the town knows, to help us meet our third round obligation. If the fence had not already been installed, I would have suggested if they wanted to go to vinyl, to use a wood tone vinyl, so it kind of disappears into the landscape a bit. So while I would have preferred something like that, this has been installed, and this is a 100% affordable project, so,
Right, that's why the
Sort
wood
of
fence
thing.
was discussed, so that it would blend in.
yeah.
And this really stands out. I rode by it today.
It does, but this is probably tens of thousands of, probably a
Oh,
thousand.
yeah. No, I mean, at this point, it's up, but.
Yeah.
I would agree, though, that they can then just go ahead and wrap the outside with, let your client know that just put it on the outside as well.
I'm sure they would be fine with that. And again, the idea behind the white vinyl here was to match the rest of the white vinyl on the property and the trim of the buildings as well. We thought it would fit in with the the aesthetic of the property. I understand your concern, but yeah, I'm sure they would be willing to add wiring on the outside too. No kids are climbing on it.
It's supposed to do.
Is that it?
That's all the field changes that we are requesting approval for this evening.
Don't do it again.
I'll let them know.
All right, so, Bob, how do you want to handle this? First, the board has to decide whether these are deemed sufficiently de minimis to,
Yes, if you do decide that, I prepared a resolution in advance, but based on the information submitted tonight, I'd like to revise it to put more specific information. So you can vote on it tonight, but I'd like to revise the resolution before it's formally adopted.
yeah.
But it's 6 foot, so.
Does the board have the draft resolution, which is called 2025-30?
Yes.
I had a quick question, just the privacy fence that's along the back between the development and the industrial park.
Yep.
What color is that fence?
White.
That's white.
I believe it's white, yep. Can you confirm that's white? I'm fairly certain it's
Just
white.
asking.
Yeah,
So
yep.
that the one near the Bosniaks.
I
the same-
am 99% sure that it's
Okay.
white, yep.
Okay.
But I can
Is it
get
up
that
already?
information to you as
Yeah,
well.
it is. and I
It's
believe
up already,
I believe
too?
it's white also. And those are very close to the building, so the white is not incongruous there. It was just the basin we'd, ideally hope. but
Yeah.
Because it's.
And white shows us the dirt a lot.
All right, the resolution that was drafted is essentially what's been proposed by the applicant tonight. On page 2, there are 5 approved changes to the site plan. Our counsel tells us he would like to tweak a couple of those, but they are basically accurate from a point of view of the applicant, I believe, correct?
I'm sorry, what are correct?
Oh, you haven't seen this?
I have not seen that, no.
Yeah, okay. Well, they are, I would say they're basically correct in terms of the testimony that I heard you give,
Okay,
or the representations really
Yes.
that I heard you give today.
yep.
So with that, if the board would consider this draft, and we can take a vote as to whether the board approves this draft or not. So I guess vote would be to approve the draft.
We need a motion, 2 motions. One is to whether or not to grant administrative amendment. The second motion is whether or not to adopt the resolution as drafted.
Okay, you want to do that in 2 motions, that's great. All right, so the first motion then, if someone would offer.
Excuse me, do you have to put the fact that the fence needs the wiring on the outside?
Well,
Or is that just part of,
I think Bob will do that when this
he'll
draft
amend the,
motion
he'll,
is finalized, and he'll just add a little more detail on each.
okay.
All right.
Being says they're
Um,
not reading directions.
So just to be, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, yep, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, before we go to actual motions, let me just open this to the public right now and ask if there's anybody from the public or online.
No one online.
No one online. So anyone in the room wishing to comment on this, raise your hand. You can come forward. I see no one raising their hand, so we'll close the public session. So the first motion that I ask someone to offer would be to approve this as an administrative amendment to the final site plan that's been previously approved. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call?
Mrs. Torty?
Yes.
Mrs. Ludden?
Yes.
Mr. Novarita?
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Tricoci?
Yes.
Mr. R. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. C. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Holden?
Yes.
And Mr. McKay?
Yes. So the second motion I would ask for is one to approve the 5 categories of changes that have been enumerated by council and would be then incorporated into the final resolution. May I have that motion?
A motion.
All right, we have a motion. Mr. Novarita.
I'll
Howard,
second.
You seconded? Howard?
Yes.
You were a second, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, can we have a roll call?
Mr. Novarita?
Yes.
Mr. Holden?
Yes.
Mrs. Torty?
Yes.
Mrs. Ludden?
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. C. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. R. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Tricoci?
Yes.
And Mr. McKay?
Yes. Thank you for your presentation.
Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your
Please
time.
remind your client to come see me for a permit, okay?
For the fence,
Fences.
for fences. I will be sure to do that. Thanks, everyone, for your time. Have a nice
All right, have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
You too.
Okay. Clear the decks and move on to the second and last case on the agenda, 24-19, Verizon, New Jersey, involving the property at 625 Lumberton Road. Good morning, Council. Good afternoon, Council.
Good evening,
Good
Mr.
evening.
Mr. Chairman,
Good day.
members of the board.
Give us your name and introduce yourself, and we'll talk.
Okay, Nick Talvacchia, Cooper Levinson Law Firm on behalf of Verizon.
Thank you. I'm going to hold off your introduction for just a second, because I want to ask our planner to give the board a short overview lecture on the history, what got us here today. And doing that because there's so many members of the board who don't know the history of the case because they haven't been around on the board
Right.
long enough. And this goes back.
I go back to 2006 with this.
Thank you. You'll probably remember me from 2006, but you won't see too many of the others
Yeah.
back in 2006. So with that, Scott Taylor, would you please sort of give us the background and how we got to this point?
Sure. So if everybody knows where this parcel is, it's a 6.86 parcel located on Lumberton Road. It's currently within the I Industrial Zoning District. A couple years ago, this parcel was included in the Lawrence Boulevard redevelopment area designation, which is what prompted the construction of the warehouses at Lawrence Boulevard there. This property, the zoning was never changed and nothing was modified under that redevelopment plan, but it is technically a designated redevelopment area. The site has been used for decades for Verizon for truck storage and as a maintenance yard and facility, and there are approvals identified in items 4 of our report dated July 31 amended August 26, 2025. Going back to 1995, 2009, 2012, 2015. In 2017, the applicant was granted a minor site plan approval to allow the construction of a 24 by 30-foot building addition to be used for the storage of materials. That would have resulted in the removal of 2 construction trailers and 2 sheds from the site. And the applicant has not moved forward with that proposal and is now seeking the permanent use of 3 outdoor metal shipping containers for storage where those are not permitted by ordinance and are expressly prohibited. And the applicant also proposes some outdoor tire storage and other changes to the rear storage area of the site, along with some cleanup and some other reorganization. So that's a little bit of the background of the site, some of the newer board members.
So council, I'll turn it over to you, but
Yes.
I would ask at some point during your remarks, you talk to us about why we're now sticking with the sea containers.
Yeah.
And I think we're changing them from 2 to 3 maybe?
Yes, so, Mr. Chairman and members,
Instead of a pole barn or some other type of permanent shed out back that would be more consistent with the zoning code, which these containers clearly are not.
well, I don't know that either are. These are fully enclosed, just like a shed would be. The containers have an advantage of being 8.5 feet tall. The shed was 13.5 feet tall. So this is lower, and we think that actually is better from a visual impact standpoint, although we don't think the public can really see too much in the back anyway. I will acknowledge that the fence has to be totally redone. The slats are mostly deteriorated. That's going to be totally redone. But we actually believe that a lower profile structure, whether it's a shed or a metal container, it's all about storage, it's all enclosed. We just think that there is 1 container there. We're proposing to add 2 more, and we're going to eliminate the 2 tractor trailers that are there. And the sheds that were mentioned, they've been long gone. So we're really, and they're going to be toward the middle. From a visual standpoint, I think it's better than the client thinks it's better than a small building because it's lower in height. That has less impact. It's all about storing. These are designed to store equipment. So this is, let me start, could I start maybe at the beginning, the context of what the...
Starting at the beginning is always a good idea.
Yeah. So let me say, this is what Verizon calls a work center. And if you drive through it, there are many, many Verizon trucks parked there. And it's a work center in the sense that Verizon workers come to the site every day. There's very few who work in the building. There's only 1 or 2 who are actually in the building all day. The Verizon service workers drive there, they park their cars, they come in, and they'll get their work assignment for that day. This facility handles 911 infrastructure, landline infrastructure, FiOS infrastructure. So that's what they're doing. They are going out, repairing the infrastructure, upgrading it, doing whatever. And the technicians come to the work center to get their work order and to pick up whatever parts they may need. So that's what's stored in the building, and that's what's stored in the yard behind. And so really, it's just about storage. So Verizon thinks that the containers, there's, again, 1 there, we're proposing 2 more, are the most, and I'll tell you, cost-effective. Verizon's a public utility. The more they spend, the higher their rates are. BPU has to pass on to consumers. So they are always fighting the cost side versus, providing excellent service. So they are not like, a non-regulated company. They are constrained on what they can spend. They have to get it through the BPU. So that's always it. And we do Verizon work around the state. It's always an issue.
Well,
So
let me just talk about the shed. I recognize that they have a duty to keep their costs down.
Yeah.
But this was originally proposed as a shed. So
It was, and
somebody made a decision at one point that a shed was within
yeah.
the
So that was
budget. So
that was 2016, 17, and a lot has changed. And actually, the reason the shed wasn't done, we found out later. We didn't know it was, I'm a lawyer, I get the approvals, and I don't see what's going on. That they determined that the size wasn't adequate anyway. So they did start putting stuff in the middle improperly. They kept the trailers there, they didn't get rid of them. But over the last year, we've worked with them, and based upon their current needs, they can eliminate the 2 trailers. As you said, the sheds are gone, and they would just add 2 more containers. The containers are 8.5 feet by 40 by 12 feet wide, 10 feet wide? Roughly 10 feet wide. So from a square footage standpoint, they're a little bigger than the shed, but from a profile standpoint, and I'm repeating myself, but we think the height reduction is important if you want to reduce the impact of the use. So we have a 6-foot fence, which is, the slats are going to be removed. You have roughly in the middle 3 containers that are 8.5 feet. That's going to have less visual impact than a 12.5 or 13.5 foot shed.
All right, since you're talking about the containers, I mean, one of the comments in the review was the spacing of the.
Yeah, so we, in a normal, that's for structures generally, so that would make sense in a normal environment, but this is a work center, and to spread them out serves absolutely no purpose. We don't need to spread them out it's only Verizon people. It's more efficient, the site. I was just there to keep them next to each other. They go in and out, and to spread them out, you're just going to create wasted space in the middle. It just accomplishes nothing. Now, in another context where the public can see these structures, yes, the separation, it probably is desirable, but it just doesn't apply. So, regulations, and the board has the authority to grant waivers and variances when it makes sense to do so from a planning perspective, and you know that. So here, if you look, when we show you the site plan, there's no benefit to separating them other than to making the site less efficient. Right? Trucks are parked there at night. There are probably 40 or 50 trucks at night. The morning they're picked up, they go out. So the stuff that is stored, the 3 containers would be next to each other. We think that makes more sense at 3-foot separation rather than 10 foot. That's all. It works better in this site plan.
All right. I know you're going to put the site plan up and talk to us about that through your engineer or corporate rep in a minute,
Yeah.
I'm sure. But one of the other issues that council has been alerted to, I assume you've read the Taylor Design
Yes, we have.
letter. I think the thing, we want to go through this letter, and so it may be that when you have your engineer or your representative go through the current proposed plan, that they try to address the various points made in the general comments. And then council, at some point, I don't know whether you have an expert to testify about the variances requested.
We do. We have a licensed planner.
Okay, so I'll let you figure out the appropriate order as you want to go through those, but then please be mindful to walk the board through your responses to our planner's letter. And while you're at it, you can also please address the Alimo letter, which is primarily concerned with parking issues, the number of parking spots, but also the fence issue, which you've talked about a little bit before.
Yeah.
And there's a barbed wire issue on the fence, and there's also some wiring that's connected to the fence at some point back in the back end of the yard.
We're prepared to address those items.
All right, so I'm going to leave it in your hands to, I guess, give us an overview of the site plan first.
Okay. So before I start, I'd like to introduce my associate, Ben O'Jerkis, Verizon representative, Megan Ust.
How are you? Are they going to, is the Verizon rep going to be testifying?
Only for questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what we'll do this, we'll swear in the Verizon rep and your planner.
All right.
And your engineer.
And our site our landscape architect who prepared the site plan.
Okay, I didn't realize.
So three of you can come up, be sworn.
And just each of you give your name, your corporate affiliation, and our council will swear you in.
I'm Megan Ust. I'm an associate director with Verizon.
Mitchell Ardman, licensed engineer and professional planner with Reynolds Group.
Jeff Reynolds, landscape architect and project manager.
Okay.
Vice
Well-
president of the Reynolds Group.
Okay, we'll get you guys qualified when you testify. But for now, raise your hand so we can swear you in.
Do swear or affirm the testimony you give tonight will be the truth, full truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Does anybody ever say no to that question?
I hope not.
I've been wondering for 37 years. All right, so again, Work Center, Verizon's a public utility. It is an inherently beneficial use under the law, which means that for a use variance, it satisfies the first prong of the criteria for a use variance, which is special reasons, presumptively assumed to be permitted as under special reasons. So the test then shifts to the negative impacts and whether or not they are so substantial that they outweigh the public benefit. So the public benefit here, which the testimony will be, is that this provides support for 911 services, FiOS, and landline phones, everything other than cell towers. That's different. So from that perspective, we think it serves a vital public interest, and we'll go through that. So the site is oversized. This is a zone that only requires 2 acres. We're 7.19 acres. We are have very low building coverage, very low overall coverage. We are, if you look at the uses permitted in the industrial zone, we are one of the least intensive uses, maybe the least intensive of what's permitted in the zone. So we have an oversized site, underdeveloped site, and we have a relatively, relatively less impactful use than what's permitted. And again, I stress, this is not a residential zone. It is an industrial zone. This is supposed to be where you have this kind of use, or even permitted by ordinance, more intensive uses. So it's important in the context of reviewing an application to put in the context of what the governing body wants in terms of uses. So, and this has, of course, been here for many years.
Can you, when you're going over things, can you address the issue of whether there will be storage of tanked gases?
Yeah, we're going to cover that. That's one of the questions, yeah.
And also the contaminant issue, what's used, how do you dispose of contaminants that come back?
I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to tackle that now because it's a big issue, but I do want to say this. While this is characterized, outdoor storage is not a permitted use, I actually view the outside storage as an accessory to the primary use. That's an important distinction. It's a matter of it, whether it's enclosed or not. We actually think that when you put these things in containers outside, it's not outside storage, it's enclosed. So, but we know the ruling has been historically, it's a use variance, but I think there's an argument it's accessory use, which is a different character because, now some of the uses, we do have tires out there, that's prohibited, I agree with that, but they're not principal uses, they're accessory to the main use, they support the main use. On the issue of the, and I'm not going to call it contamination because we have, Verizon has LSRPs on staff. The site where the poles are stored was evaluated, and as an LSRP, he would have an obligation, a legal obligation to report any suspected contamination to DEP. He did not report anything. We talked to him. He said that the poles are coated, they used to be creosote. They're now a different chemical, but it's designed to be a waterproof chemical because these poles go into the ground and they get impacted by weather. If these poles were problematic from a groundwater standpoint, the state would not allow them to be placed in the ground throughout the state of New Jersey. They're all over the state, and they're allowed to be put in the state. So they store them there. They are what's known as a large molecule coating. I'm not a scientist, but that's what they tell me. It does not mix with water. That's why it's waterproof. So it does not intrude into the ground. So our environmental consultant says, yes, you can smell something close to it, but they do this all over the state. There's not an issue. He felt there was no need to do any further environmental testing. Again, his license is on the line. So we've asked for a waiver from that testing. We believe it's unnecessary, an unnecessary cost. And again, we did evaluate the issue. We took it seriously, but we did evaluate it. So I'm going to continue if I might, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, please.
All right. So we are seeking preliminary and final site plan approval for what Mr. Taylor talked about, outdoor storage, the containers. We do have some tires there because they repair vehicles from time to time. There's not a lot of tires. We looked today, but they are there. And there's cable. This is a work yard. That's why it's called a work center.
The tires are used tires or?
No, they're new, right? No, they're new. They're for in case a tire needs to be repaired. They do some very minor repairs of the trucks at that site.
Okay, and is there some arrangement, protocol in place to keep water out of the tires? They're notorious mosquito breeding areas.
I don't know the answer. We didn't think to ask that question. But it's a standard practice throughout the state, Verizon. Apparently, I don't know of any issues that have been arisen. And I understand your point. If water collects inside, you can have, but no one's indicated that that's an issue. And I want to point out, you raised the parking question. So there's about 40 to 50 technicians that come in every day. They take a truck, they park. We have 50-something parking spaces. We have more parking spaces than we have technicians. So we believe the parking is adequate. And the trucks are stored there overnight. So I was there tonight before I came here, and all the trucks were in a line, mostly bucket trucks. And as I said, during the day, a technician will park his or her vehicle and then take a truck out on the road. And by the way, this is not a public site. The public does not come to this site for any purpose. This is purely Verizon personnel.
So all of the Verizon trucks and the employee vehicles are all behind the fence?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. I only have 9 more pages to
Whether
go.
you want to address the fence now or leave?
Yeah, let me talk. I drove, and yeah, that fence totally needs to be rehabilitated, and Verizon, we've proposed that. All the slats that I saw were pretty much disintegrated. They're all going to be replaced to restore the opaqueness of the fence. But yeah, you can see right through the fence, so there's no question that fence needs to be rehabilitated. And we also, I think that the gate is broken on the left side.
Sir, someone have a phone going?
That's my
I'm sorry.
glucose meter alarm going off. I'm trying to silence it now.
So,
Tell us if we need time you to do that, we'll take time.
Can I ask a question about the fence, if that's okay?
Well, I'm going to ask a question first, and then, you used the word rehabilitated regarding the fence about 3 or 4 times. To me, that means you take the existing fence and you patch it up. Is that what you're doing?
all the slats would have to be replaced, it'd have to be straightened and fixed. That is we have a proposal to do that. And it's still a substantial amount of money but it'll restore its functionality.
Right. There were some issues about barbed wire on the
Yeah,
fence.
so
And electrical cable being,
I can do the barbed wire. Virtually every Verizon facility has barbed wire. This has always had barbed wire as far as we know. And believe it or not, some people try to steal copper from the yards, right? So it's designed to deter theft.
does the barbed wire, and I didn't walk around the perimeter of the whole site, you really can't, at least I couldn't. Is it all around the whole fence?
I believe it is. I drove around, and I think it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, and again, it's a standard practice that Verizon has to prevent theft because, unfortunately, people steal
I mean, you have, I'm assuming, but you'll correct me if I'm wrong, that you have other security measures on the property, such as surveillance cameras and things like that?
Honestly, I don't know. I really don't.
Maybe our Verizon
Yeah.
representative would know that.
We do have cameras at that site. We have them at the majority of our garage work centers.
So the testimony from Megan Ust is that she believes that facility has cameras and that most, if not all, their work centers have cameras.
Is that large reels of copper or wire?
There is copper back there, and that's one of the primary items that's stolen, yeah.
And that's on the large reels?
Yeah, there's large reels, another wire, yes, exactly.
All right, is there anything else going to be done to the fence, like repainting it before the slats are put in or anything like that?
We're going to look at the proposal we got to see what the scope of work is.
All right, well, while they're looking at that, you can please continue.
Okay. So I think Kathy had a question.
I did on the fencing, is that, are you looking to do, let's say, I guess the word patchwork on the property, on the fencing, or are you looking to take down all the chain link, keep the post, and then put up new rolls of chain link with the slats already in them?
She's going to look at the proposal, Kathy, yeah. We did get a proposal, though, so we'll see in a moment what it says.
I just think that might be a better idea aesthetically as well, is that you're not going through this very large site and patchworking this.
I looked, I don't even see how you could patchwork. They're so deteriorated, and it might be more cost-effective to have the slats pre-installed and just roll it out.
Yeah, you can buy those rolls like that.
Yeah.
And then just use the existing poles and use that.
Yeah. I didn't do the bidding on it, but Megan will look. But the goal is to make the fence functional from, an aesthetic standpoint and to serve the function of keeping to minimize the visual impact of the yard. But, I stress, it is a work yard in an industrial zone, so it is, I don't want to be glib about it, but it's not going to look like Central Park, right, back there. It's a working area.
I understand. While we're waiting for the Verizon representative to give us some more detail about the fence specs, Ryan, we've covered parking spaces and the fence with your report. Anything else that you wanted to address?
Just the loading spaces. There are.
We were going to get into the testimony with our our landscape architect at the site plan, all of those site plan issues. So, are we going to answer now or as he goes through his testimony?
We'll wait till he goes through his testimony,
Okay.
but just make a note of that.
Okay.
So we can move off the fence. Anything that the Verizon rep can report to us?
I'm just trying to find it in my email, sorry.
You did ask a question about the wires that are hanging from the fence. They're to power electrical warmers for the trucks and cars.
So I have a question then on that.
Yeah.
Since I have a picture from July of '23 that the bollards were installed, protection on, it appears to be the propane tanks, I would assume that they are.
They're gas tank.
My construction office has no permits on any electric or anything such as that. So that's something that needs to be addressed with
Okay.
my construction office.
And we were going to talk about, because there was a question, I think it's compressed gas, correct, that's stored there?
Yeah, they've got some acetylene gas, and they use it for spot welding on site, when they need to do some welding. They've got their gas cans.
Right,
Okay, that's something too that I think should be addressed to my construction official as well.
okay.
If the board were to go ahead and approve everything.
Understood.
Okay.
Well, when you're going through the site plan, cover the issue of storage of that.
Yeah, we actually were going to try to address all the comments in the testimony of the experts.
Right, and if these are live wires that are connected to the fence, I guess my question is, well, are they just using the fence to hang the wires on?
Literally, exactly right.
I don't know if that's gonna go under the
Sounds-
electrical code.
Sounds a little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit funky to me.
Yeah, well, if, Mr. Chairman, if we can address that during the testimony, and obviously, if it doesn't meet the electrical code, we're going to have to make it meet the electrical code if you approve it, but it is something that they need for vehicle heaters. But we were going to discuss that a little bit later.
All right.
I was just getting through my opening.
Yeah, oh, no, I hear you, and I'm sorry to pepper you with questions.
No, it's
Talking,
okay.
I'm thinking about
That's okay.
issues
I know you're a lawyer, so that's what you do, right?
ages ago.
What was that?
I'm a retired lawyer.
Good for you. I'm hoping to get there.
Yeah.
All right, so in any event, I think we have covered, just from this back and forth, a lot of what I was going to say. So I think it's time then to bring up Mr. Reynolds, and I'll qualify him.
Can I ask one more question?
Absolutely, you can ask
about
all
the
you want.
tires?
Yes.
So, is there a time frame of how often you get rid of them and how long they stay and how many? The reason I'm asking is because in our other industrial park is that I know my fire official has issues with tires. And how often they stay, how many that you have. Can there be some testimony through the process here
Yeah.
in regards to that?
As far as I know, and Mr. Reynolds can talk, they're new tires, and, you know, as they're used, they're replaced. So what's stored there's just inventory as they need them. So they're not the same tire for like years. They get used
Right,
over time.
You're taking off the old one and put on a new one,
Oh.
what do you do with the old one?
Oh, they're disposed of, or at least they're supposed to be disposed of. They're not supposed to be left in the yard.
Correct.
Yeah. Only the new tires are stored in inventory outside there.
I'd like to add to that.
Yeah.
If you ever have the DEP inspection,
I'm sorry?
if you ever have a DEP inspection, they will have an issue with tires.
Okay.
I worked for a company that had tires outside, it wasn't an issue. I would just advise you to make that go away.
And you have a sense of what the issue with the tires was? Why was DEP?
Me?
Yeah, well, whatever you were told. Why was DEP concerned about tires storage in the open?
Same thing as you had mentioned before, two
Okay.
issues, the mosquitoes, and apparently there's a substantial effort to reduce the mosquito population in the state.
Okay, I get it.
Secondly, it attracts unwanted critters.
Okay, was not aware of that.
Advice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure either of those issues is much of a secret around New Jersey, but go ahead.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Reynolds, you've been sworn. I'd like to qualify you. You are, what is your qualification?
I'm a landscape architect.
And by that designation, you're permitted to prepare site plans in the state of New Jersey?
Yes, I am.
And how long have you been doing that?
Since 2002.
All right. And you've been qualified by boards in the past, I believe by this board,
Yes, I have.
as a expert in that landscape architecture?
Yes, sir.
So based upon his licensure as a landscape architect, the fact that this board, although not necessarily these members, have qualified him in the past, and in fact, he's been qualified, you do Verizon work all over the state, correct?
That's correct.
And you get qualified all over the state?
Yes.
And
We've
you-
been working for Verizon for over 25, 30 years.
Right. So I offer him as an expert, Mr. Chairman?
Council will accept him as an expert in his field.
Thank you. So Jeff, you prepared the site. Do you need him to hold a microphone or something?
So I'll try to talk about it. Can everybody
That
hear me?
one, the number one. That one, turn it on.
We're marking the site plan as exhibit number 1.
A1?
It says number one.
See, you're number one tonight.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Excellent.
Okay.
All right, Jeff. So you've prepared the site plan. You're familiar with this site, of course.
Yes, I am.
In fact, you were part of the team with me back in 2017 when we got that approval.
Yes, I got the approval with you in 2017. I've been involved with this site since 2011 about.
Okay. So describe what we're doing, what's being removed, what are we adding, and then we'll talk about fencing and landscaping and those things.
Okay, this is a picture of the site in the center of the rendering here. And basically, the inns, when everybody comes into the site, they enter from the south. They come in, it's a nice long, wide driveway, it's 20 feet wide, they've got a sliding gate. And then the Verizon people come in here, and at this point, they can decide to turn left or right. They generally park, all of their Verizon employees park right here in this section, and all of the boom trucks are down along the fenced area, and there's Verizon vans and cars and trailers and pole trailers and reel trailers, all down in this south side of the site. The outdoor storage,
Can I just interrupt you? Where is, I think I can see it. Where's Lumberton Road and where is the boulevard that goes through the industrial?
this is the industrial street, industrial
Okay.
boulevard down here,
All right.
and then this is the Lumberton Road, which is a county road.
This is the Verizon property outlined in green. This is not our property.
No, I understand. I'm just trying to give a couple of landmarks.
This is the full Verizon property, as you can see the white line around the property line. But what we did was we superimposed and put just to the Verizon fence so that we could see in the aerial what was surrounding it. So I thought that was a good way that we could present this to you.
So the area that's green there around it is the fenced area,
Yes.
but the actual property is larger than that?
No,
No.
not on this line. Down here it is, and back here it is. You can see on this aerial.
Let's mark that A2 if we could, another aerial. So this is all Verizon property, so this is buffer, and here we have, property close to.
Yeah, basically, there's only a 6-foot chain link fence for privacy slats right along that buffer.
And the non-fenced areas, does Verizon use them for anything else other than a buffer?
The non-fenced areas.
No, Mr. Chairman, they are just open space.
I wanted to mention about the tires.
Yes.
Going back to that, the tires that were stored outside of the facility, they had rims on them. So there was no water going inside the tires. And these, I believe, are the tires that are going to be put on the work trucks for the wintertime. They're going to be snow tires. Oh, sorry, but
So will they also have rims on them, so they're ready to go on?
I believe so that they could pop them right on, yes. So I didn't see any tires that were empty collecting water, but I did see the rims on the tires.
Counsel, can we confirm that issue with the Verizon rep?
Megan, you know?
I do not know the answer to that, 100%, but I can find it out.
She will find out, but she's not sure.
Okay.
So you're not disposing of old tires, you're leaving other new tires on the site?
I think they've got the tires there, new, ready to go on the trucks as soon as they need them.
They're mounted already on the wheels.
Right. So the representation is that all the outside tire storage is pre-mounted tires, either regular or snow tires, and that when the used tire is taken off the vehicle, it is disposed of off-site and not stored on-site.
Mr. Reynolds, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
I would assume, though, the tires that are being taken off have rims as well? Because you're putting a new tire on that has a rim?
Absolutely, yes.
And how long then do they stay there? Where do they go to? Because you're not disposing them to the, any sites. They have to go somewhere to remove those rims.
Is that gone on?
I know that they changed the tires, I don't know that they take the rims.
Yeah, we're not sure how they do that, if they send it to another site to take the old tires off and mount the new tires on. But the testimony is that what's stored outside is pre-mounted new tires.
Do we know how many tires are there?
I was there today, it looked like 20-something to me.
So clearly you're not going from summer to winter tires on all vehicles.
Probably not at this point of the season, no, but
So these are just
spare.
tires there that are going to be in an emergency, you're taking one off and putting another one on, and they're taking that other one and disposing of it. The tires that are there all have rims on, so there's no water to get in there or anything.
That's what I saw today, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I thought the testimony was that these are just snow tires and they are changed seasonally. So I'm not sure if they're repair tires or?
This portion of this building is, a portion of this building has fleet maintenance. So what that is the cars that either the tires have run to their end of life, or there's been a pop tire or something like that. There are tires that are kept there, and when there's an issue, they are brought into that portion of the building. There's a bay, and they change the tires in there. So they are tires that are there, rimmed, ready to go, when it's either just they've noticed that they're, ready to be changed, or a tire is popped.
So they're not snow tires?
They're not snow tires that
Right, they're all-season
I'm aware of.
tires.
No, they're all season. You come, you're there, they say, hey, it's been a year or whatever, however long it's been, your tires need to get replaced, you're up, your tires get changed.
That makes sense.
And then how long do the worn-out tires or the damaged tires that are taken off, how long do they stay on site before they're disposed of?
That I don't know, but my understanding is when they come off, those tires stay inside. The tires that are outside are only the new ones. I don't have the answer for how long they stay there, but I can find that out.
But they remain, the removed tires remain in the building, that's your testimony?
Well, for a period
I mean, maybe like I honestly,
Until they're-
sorry,
Until
right.
they're taken off site.
Right, you're not brought outside and stored. That's what
Right.
you're asking.
But I don't think that they stay there for months on end. It's a certain period of time, could be the end of the day, could be the next day. I'm not sure, but I know it's not an extended period of time that they're left inside.
Well, the critical thing is, they're not put outside.
Correct.
To increase the tire storage.
Correct. It's just the new tires that are left outside.
Okay, does anybody on this tire issue, anybody else on the board have any questions, or we've covered it pretty well? Thank you for raising the issue, Tom, of mosquitoes and pests.
All right, so, the site plan, so continue, Jeff.
As you can see, existing vegetation out front. We have 3 existing street trees. We have 1 tree, a 24-inch oak that is closer to the Verizon facility. And we also have a white pine down here in the corner. These are the only trees around the front. There are a few miscellaneous that have grown around the edge of the fence over time. But basically, one of the lot is clean, it's grass, and I propose to put a double row of some in-fairy hollies just to soften the foundation of the building.
Across the front there?
All right, well, we will get to the landscaping as a discrete discussion later on, but I'd like to please continue with the discussion about the layout of the yard.
So the layout of the yard is the same as it has been for many, many years. It hasn't changed since I've been here in 2011. And basically, it wraps around, you can drive anywhere you want. The outdoor storage is real storage on the outside near the fence in this corner, and there's sand bins in this corner. There's real storage here. This is where the acetylene tank storage is. And then we have some more miscellaneous quasi pole boxes and plastic boxes that Verizon will use. And basically, they're stored around the outside. The trucks are stored on the inside more. The Verizon cars are in the center, the Verizon employees. And right along where the Verizon employees park, that is right where we have those 2 storage trailers that we want to replace with 2 containers. And basically, the containers are going to be in the exact same place as where the storage trailers are.
But Jeff, the storage trailers, they're like a tractor trailer at the back of it.
Tractor trailers, yes,
Right.
they're 13 and a half feet high, 8
And-
feet wide,
So they will be,
they're on wheels.
what we're proposing is 5 feet lower, the 2
Yes.
containers.
These containers or sea boxes, however you want to label them, they're going to be put on the asphalt, dropped on the asphalt?
Yes.
Are they on blocks, or what, how do you,
We were going to put right on the asphalt.
all right. And then how
To
far,
correct Nick before, they are only 8 feet wide, not 10 feet wide.
Okay.
okay, they're 8 feet high?
They're 8.5 feet high, they're 8 feet wide, and they're 40 feet long.
What was, you had just mentioned 13 and a half feet in height.
That's the trailers, the 2 existing
The
trailers.
trailers.
Okay.
Yes. So we would actually be losing 5 feet in height with our new storage units.
And they're going to be placed how far apart between the,
We wanted to have them the same as the trailers, were about 3 feet apart. It just works best for the workers on site.
Is that a more efficient layout than separating by 10 feet?
Yeah, it's more efficient and we won't lose more parking.
Is there any benefit to separating them 10 feet in this case?
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, they really can't be seen by the public, correct?
No, not really. They're popped right down in the center of the site, you know?
Why did you decide to space them 3 feet apart then? Why decide 3 feet apart?
That's what currently exists out there now.
Okay, the existing tractor trailers are 3 feet
Yes.
apart.
Yeah.
All right. So there's no other reason to put them 3 feet apart?
No technical reason, just,
You could squeeze them together and have no space between them, I suppose.
We could, sure.
And why not do that?
We can do that.
can you still access them, Jeff? They're all together next to each
I
other?
think as long as the doors will open, I think.
At the ends?
Okay, so that's an option. The spacing is optional as far as you're concerned.
Yes.
All right, please continue.
This is the entrance down on the south with a sliding gate, and there's an exit to the north with another sliding gate. The residences around our property are all along the street, Lumberton Road, and we do have some other adjoining pieces. This is a truck repair center back here, and we have a mobile home park back here, and then over here we have to the east, the Hainesport Commerce Center. I believe it's a huge warehouse center that was
Not
just
there.
developed recently.
Yes.
There's a new development plan for that. So that's what everything is here down south, looking at this rendering. Do you want to go through those comments now?
Sure, yeah. Cover what you can cover.
Yeah, I'd like to go through the comments. If you have the Taylor design letter
Yes.
in your hand, and just go through point by point so we can all track what you're saying. And I would say that it'd be good to start with general comments, part C, on page 3 of 6.
Okay, all existing outdoor storage areas and structures should be addressed. I think we covered that.
I'll have to rely upon your testimony. I think you have, but you tell me.
Jeff, did we cover that?
Yes, we covered that.
All right. 1D, the number of storage trailers and containers should be clarified. And the sizes, have we done that?
We're going to get rid of the 2 storage trailers, and we're going to add 2 containers to replace those, and there will be 3 containers left on site, and we're done.
And they will all be 8.5 feet high, 8 feet wide, by 40 feet long.
That's correct.
All right, and the spacing is something we can
Your discretion.
make a note on and discuss.
Right, okay. So then C, materials stored on site, we haven't discussed that to any
Well,
great
it
extent.
seems to me we had poles, we had equipment,
Yeah, equipment.
and we have trash containers, but that's a separate topic, so we'll just deal with storage of materials right now and the different kinds and how they're gonna be kept.
Do you need more testimony on that, Mr. Chairman?
Well, I guess the question is, on the pole storage, those are all new poles, not yet installed.
Correct, correct.
And what do you do with the old poles that are removed?
They're just disposed of in the normal course, I don't know.
They're not stored, there's no used pole storage on this yard?
Not supposed to be, no.
I think we may want to clarify that for the record, because I think when we were out on site, historically, there have been remnants
Yes,
and broken.
They've been advised that they're not supposed to leave them there, so, yes, so they are not, they're supposed to be disposed of properly.
All right, so no used poles will be stored on site.
Correct.
All right, now, we've already talked about the tire storage, the new tire storage, tires on rims. Any other types of material storage going on? We have cables on
Cables.
reels, R-E-E-L-S,
Cabling.
cabling
Yeah, mhm.
on reels.
Correct.
And anything else?
I believe in the actual storage containers, there are parts that are used for repair of, and I couldn't tell you exactly what they are, but they're electronic parts that are necessary to repair FiOS. Could be adapters, could be modems.
All that stuff is inside the trailer, closed up.
And the building.
And the building.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about other larger items that would be stored in the yard besides the poles.
We'll talk about the compressed gas, but yes, I think we covered the other items.
All right, and what are we doing with the compressed gas? These are cylinders, correct?
Cylinders that are, and we're going to have to get permits for them if the board approves it, but they are used for welding on site.
And Kathy, does that pose any sort of a problem from the fire department sent a letter in saying he approved as
Right, well,
proposed, but,
what I look at is that normally when they're having any type of enclosures or bollards, we require permits, especially on those bollards, because we have to see the depth of them, the size of them, what they're used for. Is the fence, there is a fence around, from what I can see, there's a fence around the.
Yes, there is. There's a fence around the entire compound. We do have bollards on the side where the parking is, so that in case a car were to hit it, it would protect the fenced-in area.
So that fencing would need a permit because it's new, technically. But this is something I would just, I would go over with my construction official in regards to anything that they would be looking under, it's not under the IFC, it's the
Fire,
code.
yeah.
So just to make sure that, the electrical is the bigger issue for me. It's not normally under the electrical code that you just have wires hanging. So I think that that's definitely something that needs to be addressed ASAP, if the board were to approve everything.
Understood.
but let me understand this. There's going to be a fenced area within the fenced yard for,
It's been there, and it's been there for probably 30 years.
and that is where, inside that fenced area is where the gas cylinders are
Where
kept.
they've been storing gas cylinders for years. Yeah, and I've got pictures, 10 years ago where there were 30 cylinders in there. Today, it looks like there's only about 10.
All right, and this is,
My fire official, myself, we don't recall, I mean, these were, I'd like to see proof of that, to be honest with you, because this fencing looks fairly new, and I've been here 23 years on that site many times, and again, I don't recall seeing cylinders here, so.
well, this area is going to be designated for the storage of cylinders.
It has been for many years.
All right. And
And assuming the
And what
board,
is this used for, the cylinders? Was it,
for welding.
and where do they do that, inside the building?
Megan?
No, they don't do it inside the building. I believe they take them with them and do it out in the field.
And if for field welding.
Okay.
all right, please continue then. You've got,
All right, we talked about compressed gas, then item 2. All right, we talked about the contamination issue, and our position is that there's nothing further for us to do, given the assessment by our LSRP, which, he's got a question.
Yes.
Oh, it's up to the chairman.
yeah, go ahead.
The creosote areas have historically had issues. The good news here is we already have an LSRP that after the site.
Yeah, and
Found it clean.
the poles are not, they don't use creosote anymore. They have a different
Yeah, it's a
chemical.
historical issue.
Yeah.
So if your SRP didn't find an issue, sounds like it'd be easy for him to send a letter to the township to say it's a clean site.
We
Can they do that?
I believe so. Yes, we can ask him. I will, he did inspect the site, but putting aside this site, creosote does not seep into the groundwater because it's what they call a large molecule chemical. Same with the new thing. That's why they're used for waterproofing, because they don't mix with the water.
Defined differently, through my experience.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't get, it's not water soluble, but it does seep and it does migrate.
Which is why it was banned. And Nick, I thought we had an email exchange because we noted the creosote smell during our site visit and noticed the sort of remnants and dust and chunks at the ground surface. And I thought that there was a dialogue that you guys found, and I think we talked about it during one of our technical Zooms, that utility companies were still actually allowed to use creosote-treated.
I remember that. So let me explain what we found out. Before we got the LSRP and we just assumed creosote, we looked at, there was a brief period of time where New Jersey banned it, then they allowed it again for utility companies, and we assumed, Ben and I and Megan, that it was creosote because that's what we knew, historically. Our LSRP said, no, we actually don't use creosote poles anymore. It's a different chemical. Ben could pronounce it, I can't pronounce the name. But it's not a chemical that was ever banned, and it has the same waterproofing qualities, but it's not creosote, it's different.
Is it ACQ or CCA?
Ben?
Pentachlorophenol.
Penta?
Yeah.
So if this site has been here forever, even when it was Bell Telephone
Yeah.
back then, I recall when I started, is that there was always poles in the back. So we're talking 23 years ago. Back then, creosote was on them poles. So right now, if there was any on there, yes, I would agree that maybe they're not bad. But what about the historical storage of these creosotes holes in the back of the facility for a very long period of time? Has he?
So we asked our LSRP about that, and it's his opinion that creosote, or the new chemical, just does not migrate into the groundwater. Just doesn't get
We're
there.
not talking about the new.
Both, either. No, either creosote or the new one. He said it's a large molecule that just doesn't get deep into the ground. It'll be at the surface of the ground for sure, and you might have to scrape an inch or two off at the end, but on a normal basis, it's not a contamination issue. And again, I stress, if he thought there was a contamination issue, he has a legal obligation to report it.
So he can provide that letter to the township?
We're going to ask him to, yes.
Can he, or will he?
I can't.
Well, that's a big issue here, because is the site contaminated or not? And his determination is it's not, so we just want proof that's not.
We'll get you that letter.
Cleanups are very expensive.
Yeah.
And we don't want the town to be stuck with the bill.
Does the LSRP, does he have a report?
He did not do a report, he did a site inspection.
He did a site inspection, but didn't put pen to paper to create a report on it.
No, we had a discussion with him. Again, he did not see anything that was reportable or necessary.
Yeah, I think it would be prudent for there to be some type of an analysis and some report, particularly about the creosote and the remnants, because of the smells that we observed when we were out on site. And the whole reason, and I've dealt with this throughout my career, the whole reason that creosote was banned was because it does actually impact groundwater. I think it's important for the board to have an understanding of what the LSRP did, what their findings were, and what any recommendations they have.
All right. So, Mr. Chairman, that could be a condition of any approval you might grant.
Right.
Or it may be something the board wants to see.
Before the vote? Yeah, I think rather than make it a condition, it'd be something that we would want to see up front.
Understood.
So please make a note that, and, we'd like a thorough, comprehensive letter detailing his inspection, his observations, and his conclusions.
Okay.
And I don't know whether he did any testing, but if he did, then we would want the testing results as well. And I think that is a document that should be filed with the board to supplement the filings that we're talking about tonight.
Understood, Mr. Chairman.
And I think that should focus, you know, significantly on the creosote and whatever the new storage materials are. But knowing that we have few decades of an industrial use out here, if there have been any other chemicals or any other solvents or any other hazardous materials out here, what are their other findings? So I don't want it to be sort of hyper-focused on the timber pile storage areas, but just generally for the outside areas.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any contaminants other than, well, no contaminants per se, other than the storage of the creosote poles. It's wire and cabling, that stuff, but we'll ask them.
Well, on this point, we've sort of gotten a little bit stuck on this issue. I mean, I'm hearing the sense of the board is that they would want to see that report before they voted on this, so that.
Understood.
I understand you've offered making a condition of approval, but.
We'll do it the other way, Mr. Chairman. It's totally up to the board.
All right, and how quickly do you think your expert can have that report in our hands?
It's getting to the end of the year, so approvals and budgets to be able to get it done, it's gonna take some time. Usually use an outside company.
Yeah, okay, so I'm being told that Verizon would actually use an outside consultant for this, so we would have to get a requisition approved and authorize the work. They would not use the in-house LSRP for a report. So, yes, it can be done, but it will take, I don't know, 60 to 90 days?
Yeah, I'd say 90 days.
90 days to go through the whole process of authorizing the funds. They get a couple of bids, authorize the work is done, and realistically, that doesn't happen in 30 or 45 days, so we're going to ask for 90 days, Mr. Chairman.
90 days
To
to
get to
file
the-
the report with the board.
Yes. Realistically, I don't want to give a false.
Scott, is that something that you can live with?
Well, yeah, I mean, it really just postpones the matter further in.
It does.
But I think.
It
I think
does,
it's
but
important
at
for
the
the
same
board to have an
time,
understanding.
I don't think that the board, let's get the sense from the board that the board would feel much more comfortable seeing the results of this, because if it's a problem, then it has to be dealt with.
Agreed.
All right, so that is squared away. And Bob, you need any other notes on that?
Okay.
Can I just ask you about the wires on the fence?
Well, we'll get to that. I want to talk about the wires, if you don't mind, Rich.
Yeah, that's fine. Sure.
When you're getting to the fence issue in your presentation, let's talk about those, because it sounds like an electrical nightmare to me, but we'll see.
It's probably just extension cord.
Jeff, go ahead.
The numbering of the report?
Yeah, sure. I think we are now on page 4, 6. I think we're at number 3 then. Testimony regarding all approvals. I'm not sure, Scott, what you're asking for there.
So all the areas that are currently being used for outdoor storage have been historically used that way and have been part of the prior approvals?
Yes, that's correct.
And then I know somewhere in the report, we had actually asked for all of those storage areas, the real storage, everything to be specifically dashed and delineated. What we don't want to have happen, and as we all know, sometimes these sites and the storage areas tend to grow organically over time, because none of us in this room are actually on that site on a year-to-year basis. So I think having them dashed on the plans would be.
We do have the majority of it dashed on the plans now, but I noticed that there was some real storage along this back fence.
Right, that was the biggest thing that we had noted, but to really identify all of those And then also potentially, and I don't know if it was in our report, the maximum height of anything that's stored.
Like the real height, yeah.
And that can be.
How high the stack of poles should be?
And that's even something, if we don't have an answer tonight, at a subsequent hearing when we talk about the LSRP report, what I think we want to be cognizant of, we only have, if you have some pipe on racks and it's 6 or 8 feet high now, I think it would be prudent to cap that at a specific height, so we don't come back in 2 years and there's a 22-foot rack system out there, which is different than what anybody anticipated, knowing we have residential uses in the area.
We'll agree to detail that on the plan. I mean, the plan does show now at least most of the areas, but we'll update it to capture all the areas, and then we'll add the heights of their.
Let me make 2 questions on this issue. You have the storage space delineated on the plan for the poles, for example. Is there a merit to delineating the storage space on the pavement by way of painted lines? So that five years from now, when everybody who's there has long ago forgotten this hearing, they will know that that pole storage can't expand beyond the yellow line.
It's a very organized site. I'm sure you drove through it and you saw how organized it was.
Well, I can't get beyond the fence, so I didn't get inside the site.
Okay.
I walked around it.
Yeah, if you had gotten on the inside, you would have seen that, they really do a nice job to keep things organized. Things are where they should be because they need to know where to find them, every day to utilize them. So it's really a very functional site as to where they put things on purpose for a reason.
And the pole storage area is actually the only area in the rear that's not paved, correct?
Right.
That is correct.
And that's on a rack.
So maybe if the site plan can just be, maybe you can dimension that pole storage area so it's clear to everyone moving forward
Sure.
that it's just the extent of that unpaved.
Yeah, I can add notes around here. I can readjust this and I can give you dimensions and heights of all the stored materials.
That would be good. And you'll do the same thing for, I'm not so sure the gas fits in that category, but certainly the tires do.
Yes.
All right. Can we move on?
I think that sort of addresses 4 and 5.
Yeah. The dumpsters, 6. We've talked about the dumpsters a bit, but not really head-on.
Yeah. We propose to leave the 4 dumpsters on site. Right, same location, Jeff?
Leave the dumpsters on site, same location. One of them was said to be in the drive aisle. We can push that one out of the drive aisle.
Are these dumpsters picked up by a disposal company every so often?
Yes. Yes.
And there's no, the question that's been asked is whether it's advisable to have some containment of the dumpsters as opposed to them just being.
Yeah, that was raised. There's very limited site angles into the site, so we don't know that it accomplishes anything.
You're suggesting it's more likely they'll get knocked down by the
Well, it's one more item.
Truck.
It's one more item to maintain, and it's just, again, when we fix the fence, you're right, nobody's going to really see that, so, and it doesn't bother the workers to have them not fenced. Now, if this were, outside, apartment building, you'd want to do a fence enclosure, but we have a fence enclosure for the whole yard, so we don't think we think it'd be redundant, and potentially, as you point out, something that will get damaged over time by vehicles.
All right, but at least as was done with the storage areas on the plan, they should be delineate where the storage containers are kept.
Correct.
All right, 7. I think we've dealt with 7. Scott, are you agreeable that we've dealt with 7?
Yeah, and that's really just a matter of the board's issue. I don't necessarily agree with Mr. Talvacchia's assertion that a metal shipping container is even 5 feet lower is more attractive than a building. So I don't know if he's gonna have an expert testify in that regard, but our ordinance expressly, does not permit these, for a reason, but we would defer to the board. But I don't agree with,
Scott, I'm not being argumentative, but if the ordinance prohibits outdoor storage, isn't a building for storage the same thing as outdoor storage?
no, then it becomes indoor storage.
But the container, why is that not indoor storage? If it's closed up, there's a door and you're storing inside.
Because that's a structure that's expressly prohibited.
What, a storage container?
So the stuff that's happening inside, that is not what you need a use variance for. The mechanical things that you're storing inside there, you don't need a use variance for that. The big metal box is what you need the use variance for.
All right, I would say that's a variance for structure as opposed to use, but okay.
Except they're expressly not.
I'm good, I'm not going to argue the point. But I would still assert that 5 feet lower is better in the context of a work yard.
And you're also suggesting that because we're dealing with a public utility, that somehow or other these containers are a cost-saving measure.
They're cost effective, right? They do the job, and they're less visually intrusive. Now, if we were outside and there was no fence, it's not a yard, yeah, I would agree. I would think that an accessory structure building would be nicer. But we're not talking about, this is an industrial zone, it's an industrial use. It's appropriate, and again, we think the lower height is better. If the goal is to minimize visual impact to the community, 5 feet lower is better.
All right, let's move on.
I think we covered 8.
Eight we've covered in the discussion of the creosote and the poles, I think.
9, I think we partially covered. We are going to clarify the plans. Jeff, you want to, while we're here, just talk about the parking in terms of how many spaces we need and what we have?
I don't know that I know the exact numbers. I did it one time, but we have plenty of parking on site. This whole entire area down here to the south is, it's got Verizon trucks and vans and pole trucks and all kinds of stuff in there. And if you look at the aerial, certain aerials at different times of the day, you can tell when the picture was taken, because you'll see the Verizon trucks all lined up here at night. And if there was a daytime photo, you'd see all the Verizon, personal vehicles in the center, and all the work trucks are gone. So basically, this is a very efficient area that they utilize constantly. They've been doing the same thing for years.
Yeah.
Is there a designated visitor, are there designated visitor slots?
There is a designated visitor area right behind the building.
For how many?
It's handicap accessible.
Okay, there's one handicap accessible and the others are visitors.
And there really aren't any visitors to this Verizon site. It's a Verizon work site.
Yeah, there's no customers.
In case somebody were to, visit.
So you're saying that there is adequate parking for the existing service vehicles, the employee cars, visitors, and handicapped?
Employees, for visitors, for service vehicles, there's adequate parking, and there's then some. We have some extra, that's for sure.
All right. Ryan, I know you had some numbers in your report. Where did you get those from? Parking slot numbers?
Will be counted on this plan.
Six visitor spots located northeast side of existing building. And 62 other spaces with 56 employees, although that's just a current count, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And are those numbers consistent with your observations of site?
Yes.
All right. Scott, anything else on the parking?
No, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, 11 is the chain link fence. And were we going to get some additional information from our Verizon representative on that?
So the proposal that we got for the repair was just to replace all the slats around the fence.
Okay.
It wasn't to remove the chain link, it was to take out all of the old slats and put in new green slats. I think there's wood there now, it would be green plastic.
Deteriorated wood slats.
Reaction?
Well, knowing that we're coming back in a month, it might, or in a few months, it might be prudent for the applicant to take some photographs of that, or our office can, to be able to show the board what the condition of the fencing is and what's proposed. And whether putting up new black vinyl chain link and using black slats in there, maybe a better screen, more consistent with the ordinance. We do have residents across the street. We have residents that drive up and down Lumberton Road, and we have an adjacent resident to the sort of north/west of the site.
That's not what they're proposing. Seems like a lot of work to put the slats in.
I'll tell you, that's a lot of work.
I was just discussing that with Megan.
I had a fence company, me and my husband, for over 20 years. And to individually pull those slats out and replace them is an enormous amount of labor. Sometimes it's easier to just undo all the ties, take off the chain link, and then buy the chain link with the slats already in it.
And leave the poles in place.
re-pull it and tie it and retie it again.
Especially if that fencing has been even tapped by a truck and deformed at all, trying to get the slats in is
You would be paying more probably in labor costs.
it's like a
Yeah.
jigsaw
Actually
puzzle.
material
Looking at
because
the
of how
proposal
much
that
work
is
it goes,
accurate, yeah.
All right, so like the pollution issue with the creosote, you'll go back and rethink this fence issue.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Is the barbed wire, where's the barbed wire?
We would like to retain that. That has been there for decades, and Verizon finds it to be a theft deterrent at all their facilities.
So it's along Lumberton Road, there's barbed wire that.
Is there, well, there's very little fencing along Lumberton. It's,
The building mostly along Lumberton,
yeah, it's mostly building along Lumberton.
but the other three sides, is that the barbed wire goes around the top of the fence on the other three?
You wouldn't see it here, that's our property. You wouldn't see it here. You could see it here, I mean, you would, but again, we think it's prudent to protect the assets that are stored there.
So wait a minute, did I just understand you to say that on two sides
Yeah.
that are your property, there's no barbed wire?
No, there is barbed wire. What I'm saying is our property actually goes to here.
Okay. But all around the fenced area is barbed wire?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, the board has to make a decision on that, but we've heard the testimony. We've heard your testimony,
I
so.
believe that the state statute that says you can't have a perimeter barbed wire fence unless you have the consent of the adjoining property owner. I know there used to be, I haven't looked at it in a while, but I think that statute still exists.
We'll look at that. I've never heard of that, but we'll look at that.
And our experience has been with housing authorities and everybody else who has had it, the barbed wire becomes more of a safety liability for the inadvertent trespasser. Anybody who's intentionally coming in to steal wire with a 4-foot section of carpet or a Carhartt jacket can throw that over, climb over the barbed wire, or a $4 wire cutter, they're over the barbed wire. So anybody who's intentionally trying to do that, barbed wire is not much of a real deterrent, but it does create a safety liability for sort of the inadvertent trespasser that tries to climb something. So that may be something you want to talk to Verizon about with that.
We'll discuss that issue also.
Yeah, put that on our,
Statement- Can I make a statement too, only because I deal with this on more than anybody probably in the building, is that one of the big things, we have state police here, And one of the biggest things that we have dealt with many of our businesses is that, does Verizon have no trespassing signs on this property at all? Because I'm gonna suggest if you don't, you need to get them. We've dealt with this up and down Route 38 where the businesses did not have them, and then there were issues out on site. And as the state police had stated, was that they need to be posted all over, no trespassing.
Okay, we'll look. I don't know the answer.
All right.
That would be a really big issue for you guys to help in case anything ever happened. Those signs will protect you, believe it or not.
All right, that's on your to-do list then. 12, finally, we've reached the electrical wires hanging from the fence.
Jeff?
My understanding, and I might be wrong, is that it's just a wire, electrical cord that you can take from your car,
Plug
and plug it into something to heat their block heaters for their truck. So they've got the wires hanging ready so that they can simply just plug them into the wire and
Well,
hook them up overnight.
What sort of wires? It's just,
It's like an extension cord.
it's a wrap wire to a junction box that has a plug that you can plug a heater into,
Yes.
correct?
That's what it must be.
Two things come to,
Which, yeah,
two things come to mind. The name Rube Goldberg, but also, we're not in Maine. Why do you need heating blocks for engines?
Diesel?
You need them.
Are they diesel?
so our experience has been, you can't have exposed wires in any exterior setting. At a minimum, it has to be enclosed within conduit. But as a condition of approval, or even prior to the next hearing, it may be prudent for you guys to meet with Kathy and the electric subcode official and determine what can or cannot be mounted to a fence and in what fashion.
Figure out the proper way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
gonna come back on you guys. Gosh forbid something ever happened. You guys wanna be protected knowing that you did it right.
If the truck backs into the fence and exposes,
Up at college, I went to college up at Paul Smith's College of Forestry, and I had a block heater, and I had it hanging from a tree. And I ran the cord from the kitchen out the dorm window, and I hung it from a tree, and every time I pulled in, I plugged it in, but I was the only guy on campus that my car ran the entire winter because it was always warm.
all right, well, I won't debate maybe you need block heaters, but I think they ought to be wired with some professional advice.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's another on the to-do list.
Jeff, 13, 14, and 15, any issues with making those revisions?
No issues with making those revisions.
So 13 and 14 and 15, we will comply.
All right, 16,
There are some utility poles down here that are lined up, and that is the poles that they train their personnel on to learn how to climb the poles, how to hang the wires, how to do whatever you need to do with the poles. So that is a pole training center here, where they have, I think it's like 5 or 6 poles all lined up.
This is 16?
That's
16, yeah.
Training poles?
Are they're indicated on the plan?
They are shown on the plan, but I'll label them better.
And
Yeah,
they're
they prob-
outside the fenced area, correct?
They are outside the fenced area, correct?
And they probably ought to be labeled as training poles or something like that, so the specialized purpose is clear.
Yes, sir.
All right, now we're dealing with lighting, D, and we can deal with that as one group, I think.
So we said that we shouldn't have any more lighting permitted as of 2017. And that there are existing floodlights on site.
We're not proposing anything new, correct, Jeff? So this talks about the future.
And the recommendation is, and we've done this with other sites, because outward shining floodlights that create glare on adjacent properties becomes a nuisance.
Yeah.
So any future replacements are recommended to be done with full cutoff down fixtures at a 3,000 degree Kelvin.
That's fine. I think Kathy pointed out 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago a complaint, and we did make an adjustment, and I think,
Yep. It came from the neighbor across the street.
yeah, she called me and we got it adjusted. So I don't think there's currently an issue there, but the comment is fine.
Thank
I
you.
would,
So-
we've not had any since then.
Okay.
So Verizon will agree to comply with this, with the lighting comments?
Future, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now on to landscape, which I cut you off earlier when you were talking about some landscape, because I knew we were going to get to this list. I mean, this list identifies a lot of suggested landscape changes. So please respond to the suggestions.
I would suggest that I work with the landscape architect to iron these out. Whatever.
You've not, since you got this letter, you've not talked to Taylor Design about how to work out their suggestions in practice?
But knowing that we have a few months and the applicant has expressed the willingness, I think we have some time to make some progress toward a shortened, hopefully a shortened list of
Yeah.
items in the report.
Yeah,
And
okay.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to emphasize again that there's always a budgetary concern with a public utility. This is all beautiful stuff, but it's expensive. And expensive to maintain over time, so.
We understand, but.
So is my Verizon bill.
No, we.
Me too, but.
You made the public utility point, we understand
I
it,
just
get it.
wanted
We're all consumers, you know,
Yeah.
pay
I
the
mean,
bills.
this
But,
is- yeah.
but that's the purpose of having these expert-to-expert discussions. We reach compromise that,
Understood. We'll work with Scott.
okay, thank you very much, appreciate that.
So
I think that does it for the various professional comments, although if I miss something, I'll be called to task by.
Yeah, I just have one thing for loading. Where will the loading happen on the site, especially if you guys bring in like big materials like poles?
Depends on what you're loading. If we're going around to the pole loading, it's gonna be done out here in the yard. But if you're loading something in the building, there is some areas back there that are spec'd off to load into the building.
You know, like approximately what time of the day you guys do loading?
It all varies
Varies.
between deliveries and there's, if there, sorry. If there's an accident or something and a pole needs to be replaced, that's an emergency, so, that's not like something that's gonna be on a scheduled time frame.
Deliveries, though.
Deliveries and all that, it's during normal working hours, 7 to 5, around those hours. But it's not like a set time at 10 o'clock, a delivery occurs every week. It will vary throughout the working day.
So this facility, generally speaking, runs from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Generally speaking, yes, unless there are, like I said, emergencies and that sort of thing in which an accident or something has occurred and there's a down pole, and then the construction people need to come in, get a pole, go out, repair.
Right,
Or there's an outage or something, then people need to get into the site to get materials.
right. But absent those emergencies, you have a set hours.
Correct.
And to that point, and we sometimes put them, because this was existing, I think we skipped over it. Because we have some residents around, a lot of times we request a condition that all trash pickup and deliveries be limited to 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Would that be agreeable? And then with a caveat that aside from emergency loading operations on site, but that way if you're scheduling a pole delivery, you're scheduling a
Yes,
tire delivery.
correct, yeah. That shouldn't be a problem. Yeah. It most likely occurs that way today.
All right. All right, I think we've done all we can do on this tonight. There's a to-do list that Verizon has to look at. The remaining question in my mind is, do we set a new date for the additional hearing on this? Or do we just set a date?
I'd like to
To
set a
to
date.
set a date.
And if we, for some reason, can't make it, but let's put it on the calendar so we know it's there.
Scott and Ryan, are you okay with that? So we need 90 days December, January, February, end of February for your bid time.
Paula,
And
do you have dates for next year?
I do not.
Oh,
Tentatively, I would say it would be March 4th.
Paula, I will not be here March 4th. I'll be in Europe, so can't participate even by phone if I wanted to. So I would, and I think March 4th is probably too short, so I would say we look to April.
yep.
First Wednesday in April.
If we could announce that
1st.
date, if it turns out that's not the real date, we'll renotice, but if we can announce that date. So we don't have to-
Tentatively, April 1st until we adopt the dates.
Right, we haven't adopted, we won't do it until the first meeting in January, the new dates, but
If we can just announce what we think the date will be, if it turns out that's wrong, we will renotice, but if it turns out that's the correct date, then we don't have to renotice, is what I'm asking.
right, so, well, I think you probably, Bob, I think this new date in April probably should be renoticed. Shouldn't it?
Do we know the April first Wednesday date?
It's April 1st, but we haven't adopted.
Hasn't been
the,
formally adopted until January.
That's all right.
But I think when it is formally adopted, assuming it is April 1st, it should be renoticed.
No, we did notice,
If not,
nobody showed up.
we notice if you pass a motion to continue to that date.
Okay,
If it doesn't happen on that date, he's got to renotice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair, that's correct.
But we also need your consent
Yes.
to extend to that date, and please give it to me in writing.
Okay, Ben, yeah,
We'll give it to you in writing.
we'll get a letter out.
Okay.
okay, consent to
Extend the hearing, the time for approval.
extend the hearing and time for approval till, tentatively till April 1st,
Yeah,
subject to confirmation January 1st when we, or thereabouts when we issue the new formal dates.
okay,
At 6:30 PM.
Chairman?
at 6.
One more thing, just for the LSRP, I just need adequate time to review it. You get that to me by like March 1st. That'd be good.
Yeah, I mean, if it's November, that should be fine.
Be fine.
I think the representative of
90
Verizon
days
said
is what
90
we said,
days.
yeah.
So December, January, February.
But
Yeah.
yeah, the revised plan, the revised plans as well, and the LSRP report.
So let's just set a date definite, so we have something we can tell everybody.
I think March 1 at the latest
Okay.
works for an April 1 hearing.
Can I ask a question in regards to, does Verizon use their own, do they have their own electrical people, or do they use an outside source? The reason I'm looking is to try and get an idea, a gauge of a time frame to get this electrical issue looked at, from a licensed New Jersey electrician, explain what's out there so that we can have my electrical subcode take a look and see what you guys need to do sooner than later on this.
That would be an outside vendor.
Outside vendor.
So I would suggest then, if you're going back in regards to what you have to do for that, if you could put that on your to-do list to get an electrician approved, and then to come see me, and we'll talk about what he needs to do with my subcode.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we have verbal consent to continue this till April 1st.
And
We're gonna get it
I'll provide written consent tomorrow.
follow up in written
Yes.
form. Can I have a motion to adjourn this matter?
Do you want to open to the public, just in case there's any public here? It might,
Well,
The hearing's not closed yet, though, right?
hearing's not closed. I just assumed.
but if there's anything.
That's fine. If-
helpful-
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll take that suggestion, and we can end it. Any member of the public wanting to comment on this, raise their hand. I see no hands, I see no public. So therefore, we'll close the public meeting for this session. And a motion to adjourn this to the April date that will be formally
April 1 at 6:30.
selected. We think it will be April 1, but formally selected in our first meeting of the reorganization meeting in January.
But, Mr. Chairman, you are carrying this to April 1, no further notice. You're going to, you're
We're
formally
carrying
carrying
it to
this.
April 1, no further notice, but if it
Changes, we'll notice.
if it goes beyond that, we'll have to notice.
Understood.
I have to say, Nick, we'll be together 10 years on this project in April,
That's all right, if it takes a little time, as long as we get it right.
but it's always been a pleasure working with you.
Same here. Thank you very much.
So, may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Steve,
Second.
roll call?
Mr. Navarita?
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore?
Yes.
Mrs. Twardy?
Yes.
Mrs. Ludden?
Yes.
Mr. Chakotchi?
Yes.
Mr. R. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. C. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Holden?
Yes.
And Mr. McKay?
Yes.
Thank you. Good night. Are you guys related?
No. We tell everyone we are, but
Good night. Thank you.
he's better looking.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
If they knew how many Murphys there were in Ireland.
Just give me the
they
two
wouldn't
that,
On my agenda.
yep.
Smith is still the number one name in Ireland, Murphy's number 2.
All right, let's get this meeting wrapped up.
Give me
We have
one
some
second.
resolutions.
1 second, please.
Bob, we're not doing the resolution on the affordable housing complex. You're gonna edit it some way?
I want to revise that.
Yeah, okay. Then we have 3 resolutions that we can look at. 2025,
We go back to minutes first?
you want to do minutes? Sure. We can look at minutes of the July 10, 2025 meeting. Assuming everybody has reviewed it, can I have a motion to approve the minutes as written?
Motion. Second.
Mrs. Ludden?
Yes.
Mrs. Twardy?
Yes.
Mr. R. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Navarita?
Yes.
Mr. C. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. McKay?
I just saw something. It's not present and
Mr.
absent.
McKay?
Yes.
Oh, you better say something. Excuse me, there's, I think there's a mistake.
2 Murphys.
On the roll call that I'm looking at, it has me
Mackay.
present and
I know, it's a
absent.
little different.
Yes, I know, I already got it fixed. It's marked on mine. You were absent.
I thought so.
All right.
Right, you don't say anything.
Okay.
Next resolution is 2025-29 JDEB Marne Highway.
28.
20,
28 first.
CVS 28.
yeah, I'm sorry. 2025-28 CVS, yes. My vision is failing, as you
We'll
probably
straighten
can
you out,
see.
don't worry.
Well, I hope the ophthalmologist straightens me out when I see her in about a week.
But until then, we'll help you. It's not a problem.
But things are really bad. So, motion to approve 2025-28 as drafted, please.
So moved.
Second.
Is that Mrs. Twardy?
Roll call.
No, it was, Leila.
Leila.
Janice.
Yep.
Mayor Gilmore?
Yes.
Mrs. Ludden?
Yes.
Mrs. Twardy?
Yes.
Mr. Navarita?
Yes.
Mr. R. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. McKay? And Mr. McKay?
Yes. All right, next we have the JDEB Marne Highway LLC matter denying site plan. This is resolution 2025-29. Motion to approve as drafted would be in order.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Twardy?
Yes.
Mayor Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. McKay?
Yep.
Mr. Navarita?
Yes.
Mrs. Ludden?
Yes.
Mr. R. Murphy?
Yes.
Yes. Sorry.
And Mr. McKay?
Yes. Now, the last resolution listed is the one we spoke about at the front end of dealing with these resolutions. And Bob's going to edit that a little bit, and we'll deal with it next week, or next meeting, excuse me. And then we have correspondence. Does anybody have a particular interest in any of the letters? Otherwise, a motion to receive and file would be in order.
So move.
Second.
Roll call.
Mayor Gilmore?
Yes.
Mrs. Ledden?
Yes.
Mrs. Tordey?
Yes.
Mr. Novarita?
Yes.
Mr. Jacochi?
Yes.
Mr. R. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. C. Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Holden?
Yes.
And Mr. McKay?
Yes. All right, any professional comments?
I want to wish everyone happy Thanksgiving. As I said last year, it's the best day of the year. Scott said it's the day after Thanksgiving.
Oh, day after Christmas.
Well, thank you very much.
You like Thanksgiving, yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving to you, too.
Yes.
Hope you're not traveling anywhere by
The
plane.
moon out there tonight?
It's been beautiful.
No other professional comments? Ryan, you're okay?
Mr. McKay, did you see that wonderful moon out there tonight?
Well,
Bella Luna.
I know it is there. It was last night, too.
The guy with the restaurant
So
equipment.
I guess it may end shortly.
He's just back.
Any public comments? Anyone sitting out in the audience? I see no one. Actually, I see one person, two people.
Mr. McKay, could I say something?
Yes, I was going to ask for board comments next.
Oh, okay, because they had it reversed, that's why.
Yeah, board comments, please.
I just want to say how sorry I was to lose a dear friend and past chairman of the board, H. Kroll Pfeiffer, passed. And,
When was this?
the 15th.
The 15th.
Yeah. And he was a great asset to this community for a very long time, and a dear friend, and I miss him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a terrific chairman, dedicated to
This
the
town,
board
so
and
many
to the
ways.
town.
So many ways.
Well, he'll be long remembered.
Indeed.
All right, any other board comments?
That's a shame. What nice guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Scott, do you see us, when we talked about the sidewalks and moving forward as a board, we've talked about our stance on that. Is this storage container thing something we should be talking about, how we feel about as board members? And, because I just feel like, Hainesport, is the kind of town where there's some people that live here that would, storage containers, they would welcome them on their property. I know people personally, if they were allowed to put a storage container on their property, they'd put one on there tomorrow.
And we have a lot of towns that have had the same.
Yep.
The same sentiment. And for every person who would want to put one on their property, their neighbors would not be happy if
No.
their neighbor put one on.
Nope.
Because they're using them as living facilities as well.
They often, what starts off as a good idea, on a very large lot, the next thing you know, somebody's operating a small business out of there, so it becomes a very slippery slope.
Yep.
They aren't subject to building code requirements or building inspections. People run electricity to them, so we've seen they're not taxable. So we've seen a whole host of issues with shipping containers. They're usually rusted and in disrepair, and
Now we get to the real
the
reason.
downsides, in most of our towns, they found that the downsides usually outweigh those very few upsides. This board has approved some on a temporary basis in the past. Hopeki Battery was approved for a year or two, and they were required to paint theirs to sort of match the building, because it becomes very easily to crap up a site. It's a difficult decision, difficult issue.
Hey,
So that-
Bob, could you maybe, not tonight, because people want to go home, but since we have this Verizon matter out in the future, really talk to the board about how this public utility factors into the decision to grant the variance for.
Economic aspect of it.
Yeah, you know, they're arguing that they ought to have they ought to get the variance for the use of the sea containers because of the public utility. Yeah, I mean, if we can maybe talk about that when it comes up again, or if it comes to mind between now and then, talk about it. I mean, we've had those discussions before with the cell towers, but it's a long time ago.
But like Scott said, we've already given approval for somebody to use containers that's not a utility for 2 years.
Temporary.
Temporary.
Yeah.
So that person's got to come back to us.
Or build the building.
Yeah.
It's the battery company, right across from CVS.
Yep.
Brick building, nice building. And they painted them army green or something like that, and when they no longer needed them, they took them away.
Yeah.
Rick, just to let you know that in our ordinance, it's actually under the code enforcement officer, is that they are permitted on a residential lot for 4 months only. But there's conditions with that there is either like a fire or there's water damage to houses or they're renovating it as such. They have to get a permit with me. We've had them, we have it right now, and then they're good for 4 months. At that point, at usually about 3.5 months, I will send them a notice and remind them that they are due to remove that in the 4 months, and if they don't, there's 2 choices. Either one, there's a violation notice, I should say 3, remove it, or they have the right to seek relief for a longer period of time, and I believe that comes with the township committee can approve that for a long period of time.
Kathy, does the ordinance have size limitations on the container?
I'm sorry?
Does the ordinance have a size limitation on the container? I mean, the ones that we're talking about with Verizon, they're 40-foot long, trailer truck length.
No, it doesn't. This ordinance has been in place for a long time, and then when pods became popular, the pod ordinance was added to that. But there's conditions, I mean, it's a really good ordinance, I think, that is enforceable under myself or the code enforcement officer, that allows us to make sure that the conditions are met for setbacks, hard surfaces, long periods of time, and due to the conditions and the reasons for that. But no, they really don't give a size itself. So, and I don't necessarily think that you have to do that, because the time frame itself really is our enforcement end, and because of the reason that why most people, and again, in 23 years, I don't get a lot of them, but they use them for exceptional cases, where if there's a fire or there's a flood in the house or something like that, you don't get the average person that just tends to put one on their property.
And that's 320 square feet in 8x40. That's the largest standard shipping container for overseas shipping and tractor trailer and rail transport. That's only twice the size of a permitted shed of 164 square feet. So on that temporary basis, it's an imposition for the neighbors potentially, but if somebody's house burned or they're having an issue, that's what we deal with as neighbors.
Again, the ordinances, as long as they are structured good in regards to time frames, locations, things like that, under enforcement, it makes our job easier, that if those criterias are there and people don't follow them, that allows us to enforce a violation notice on them.
We had a lot of discussion about tires stored outside. I can see poles, they need to be stored outside because of size or whatever. Is there any reason not to store tires inside? Is there?
Right.
Well, who has more authority over us with tires is my fire official, because he has issues that he has to go to in the industrial park. He recently went there probably about 4 or 5 months ago into one of our problem children, and he can cite them. His fines are hefty. His enforcement is a lot stronger than literally any of us here.
But our enforcement is, let's talk hypothetically and not about any particular application. this board, if somebody is requesting a use variance and wants to store tires or transmissions or anything outside, you have the right to say, no, those are things that are required to be stored inside.
I just was wondering if there's any reason why a tire couldn't be
It's really
stored
not good
inside.
practice to store tires outside. They get broken down by UV light, everything else. Like,
Yeah.
tires really shouldn't
Yeah.
be stored outside, so,
All right, so there's no good reason why they couldn't be inside.
no.
Okay.
And some fire folks don't want them outside up against the building, because if they do catch fire, they go. And then you've got a problem with,
That's a bad
with
fire.
the building.
Well, that's one of the biggest fire officials, is the location of these tires, and against the building, like Scott said, is a major no-no.
These are not against, these are proposed, not against the building,
What's that?
I think they are right against the building.
are they?
Were they weren't listed on the plan, were they where
Yeah,
they
they
were?
were.
Oh, they were listed where they
Sort of the
store 'em?
bottom right corner of
Okay.
the plans of the building.
All right, motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, we're adjourned.
All right, lads. Thank you, everyone. Next time.
He said 2
Who'd you
hours.
second that?
She seconded that.
I did? Did I?
Janice, I thought.
No,
No, the mayor
Taylor.
motion.
I know. Oh, we have,